clinical game, but it just made it so that there was no place on the map for nuns to play. And what I was just talking about that Razor early timing, Chen is one of the heroes who complements it so well, because now you just have this added push power and this added hero that naturally takes over objectives by himself, with the addition of like 1 or 2 aggressive heroes. So you usually have like a very nice tempo looking draft going for them right now.
Yeah, it looks very threatening for sure. Yeah, now that you mention it, I seem to remember him getting a lot done, even though he was only like level 4. He was using all these like mud golem creeps and harpies, and like he was just like pressuring everywhere. It was really effective. Oh, that was the game that they killed the mid tower as well really quick. I remember that. Yeah.
And he was just smoking from lane to lane.
There's the one here the 5RATFORCESTAFF has a 100% win rate on. I can't really look that much into it. Sorry?
It was. I mean, it's against Felt though. Is that? Yeah, it's against Felt.
Yeah, look.
10 seconds
regardless, still solid hero in the patch. Good for initiating. I would say there's a good solution against the Razor BKB timing, right? Because you can hookshot him, walk away, cog him, force him to like waste seconds or break static link. I think that's a great pick here.
Double damage versus Chen's creeps on your battery assault also. Let's go.
Sure, why not? Why not? And then Dawnbreaker, that's going to force Dawnbreaker into a core. Unless it's carry Enchantress, of course.
Oh, God.
But with the sniper pick, probably not. And they will go for that super long range, high DPS hard carry as a potential Razor solution, which is kind of cool.
You know, even though Storm Spirit's nulls got nerfed, I think that hero is still playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
and
just
it looks like a really solid Storm game.
Boom busted it out against
EG
Alliance in their Game and Gladiator series just an hour and a half ago, so it's viable.
Oh, in game 1. I missed that one.
Yeah, it was game 1.
Yeah, they do have weak disable. It's definitely the case here. Part of the reason they banned Batrider, that guy would have just like ran circles around them too. But we'll see where EG goes with this. Their pushing is really solid right now. Maybe they need a little bit more lane stabilization. They know where the sniper is going to be. They still don't know who the mid is. So do they pick their mid, fear it gets banned, or do they solidify some other lane?
Yeah, I'm glad to see more snipers come up, by the way, because Pure early on in the European tour just made it look like a hero that has so much potential that maybe not enough teams explored. But when you pair it with some melee laner like Clockwork, assuming that they are going to be played together, I mean, you can always have sniper mid too, depending on what the matchup is. It feels like this hero, if left unchecked, and if it doesn't have heroes to jump on it, definitely becomes such a nuisance in fights. And he just does so much damage from so far away, and even if you get on top of him, if you have that one jump hero, he can stand his ground in man fight and just turn on his passive ability. He really is stronger than he used to be.
His shard's really good too. It's pretty low cooldown. The disarm is great. AoE against the Lycan and other stuff can be pretty decent, but EG kind of committing more into the split push, tower taking, death ball thing here. Still not solidified on their picks just yet, but it does look like the last TI strat, right? Like Lycan Tiny, they banned out a lot of tiny counters here. They can turn them into Wolf later if they want to. That's going to allow Tiny to run down Sniper very easily, not have to worry about headshots so much. So it kind of looks straightforward, hence why they're banning out some mid heroes.
And that's later on in the game too, right? Where you start to think about the wolf fight on the Tiny. But I mean, if this game goes based on EG's timings of their like Chen, Lycan, Razor, BKB, they can potentially just end this game really early on. The one saving grace for 5RAT is they did pick up the sniper, who historically has been this excellent anti-push hero with shrapnel and with his like long range. He is able to defend early on, which is why you kind of just need that hero to get on top of him in those situations where you are going for those high ground pushes. And I guess Lycan can run at him hasted, but it still doesn't feel like enough. I mean, maybe you could just put this Tiny mid, honestly, and just have him buy that blink dagger and be the hero to take these jumps for you.
Yeah, I guess the last pick will determine if Razor or Tiny is going to be Abed's hero.
Yep, all the bans great though. Good call on the Storm Spirit that gets banned out. Bloodseeker, Rupture against Lycan or Razor would have been excellent. More counter push with Bloodright would have been solid, and Bristle would have just given them some really nice frontliner. That would have made Sniper a lot more survivable, assuming then it would have been Sniper mid, probably Bristle safe. Would have been a lot easier for them to defend their towers, and now I don't really see how they do that. Yeah, Timber. I was thinking maybe they'll pick Timber to be that like tanky frontliner guy. It is Lil Nick's best hero, but it's gonna force what, Dawnbreaker carry or Dawnbreaker mid, one of those two, unless it's Enchantress.
Or it's Enchantress carry.
I mean, it could slow things down certainly. A lot of strength heroes on the enemy team.
Guys, it's a sniper carry.
Mid Timber? Offlane Timber, and then mid who?
5 seconds remaining.
Effie.
I'm thinking, because it depends on this last pick where they're going to put their cores, actually.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
You can't actually
5RAT
decide where these heroes are going without seeing this EG last pick. This is what's going to decide who goes where.
5RAT is expecting this Tiny to be a support, which is what geared the Spirit bans in the final phase. So they're expecting an Abed hero to come out here.
It also helps protect their lane swaps too, because if Sniper has to worry about Void or Storm Sphere mid, he's going to get destroyed at level 6 if he gets behind at all. So it kind of allows their lane swapping to be more flexible. If it's like, I can lane against any of these heroes, whatever, I'll be fine. Then Sniper can go mid, or maybe he'll go safe lane, depending.
You need a jump hero, for sure. Like, there are... The two spirits that would have excelled at jumping the Sniper did get banned out.
Bat Rider.
It could
it's
be
banned.
Tiny
Banned
4
out as
for
well.
jump.
Banned out
Would
as
that be
well.
good
So,
enough?
Tiny 4 for jump, I guess if he plays a good game, but I mean, now that you see this Timbersaw come out, you don't want to like risk the chance of Tiny's lane being ruined, I suppose.
Okay.
So
Mid
it is
Razor?
Okay,
Tiny
so
4
it's mid
probably.
Razor, core Ursa, then offlane Lycan.
Ooh, this Timbersaw just got very sad.
Yes.
Okay, so
No.
Ursa, I suppose Ursa can also just be your like jump on Sniper later on if he decides to go for that blink build. He also just lanes incredibly well versus Timbersaw, so I think shifting this Ursa to carry and just like demoting the Lycan and the Razor a little bit makes a lot of sense here, because 5RAT's only in to this game would have been if Timbersaw had snowballed his lane. So if you just prevent this Timbersaw's snowball, you're still going to run the issue of once EG start to play on their tempo and they start to play on their summons and that Razor BKB and just like collapse on objectives, there really isn't that much 5RAT can do. The Sniper is going to be the one trying to defend with Shrapnel, but if he gets jumped on and dealt with early in the fight, there's no other way for 5RAT to fight back. So a lot on Timbersaw's shoulders, and he's in mid Timbersaw.
And it's
Yeah,
against the
mid-Timbersaw.
mid Lycan? Abed just
So you
picked up the
dodged
Lycan?
you dodged the Ursa lane.
So yeah, mid to dodge the Ursa lane. That's going to allow Lycan to farm just fine in the mid lane. Now they get to do Razor against Dawn, or against, who's the carry? DNM, the Sniper. So they're going to do Razor against Sniper. It seems like pretty good lane matchups for EG. to
Yeah,
me.
I want to say that, like, with this last minute adjustments of lane, regardless of how you could have gone it, just having this Ursa in your draft makes it so that you are coming out of the lanes comfortable as EG. Like, any kind of shifts that you do here, you're going to have a pretty decent time. And I mean, Lycan, on paper, should lose to Timbersaw mid, but, like, if you're just, like, farming, hitting your neutrals, getting your timings, and then you should be okay. So I like EG a lot here.
I will say that the draft proves to be more competitive than I was expecting, though. I thought EG would just have everyone's number, but I think both teams were keeping each other on their toes. Purge, if you had to hide the team names, which way are you going?
I think it's safer to say that the team with the Ursa is in a better place. They have so much push. They have pretty solid lane setups. I just feel like they're going to be able to win lanes or do well in lanes and then lead into like tons of pressure, and they're going to run at this Sniper all game.
All right, let's see how it goes down in game number 1 with Sunsfan and Cinderin.
Hello? Hi there. Sunsfan here with Cinderin. And we have a game for you. Technically, this is a game. It's a best of 3. Okay?
Okay.
Stay with me here.
Yeah, I'm listening.
EG 3-1 in the DPC.
Okay.
They need every win they can get, Cinderin. Very competitive region. Okay. 5RATFORCESTAFF, they're 1-3. So they're not going to catch EG, but they do need to stay out of those bottom 2 positions. So if they lose this, they're bottom 2 again. Or tied for bottom 2, I should say, with the cut. So actually a very important game for them. Or for both teams, but in different ways. This is where you start talking.
Yeah, so basically EG, if EG win out, I believe they're going to the major at this point, if I remember correctly with how the matchups are set up, or at the very least they ensure a tiebreaker, and it definitely is a real possibility for them to do that. If 5RATFORCESTAFF win this series, they're more or less guaranteed not relegated, because I think 2 wins will be enough in the end. In an A this time around, but we'll see. I honestly really like the draft that 5RATFORCESTAFF have brought to the table here. I think it's very smart of them to reassess their laning the way that they have. That does not mean I favor them against EG, because I think they will likely get outclassed, but they have some really good ideas. I think the clock sniper lane should be very nice here. I think the option of putting Timber mid was interesting. They could have even played the Timber plus Ench against Ursa. I think that would have been playable. But like this, they're going to put Lil Nick there, which is probably better. And then it's just a matter of how well is the mid lane going to go for Timber against Razor, as EG will adapt as well and put the Lycan in the off lane. So when is the last time you saw Abed play off lane?
Yeah,
that is very unusual for this team.
Playing Lycan in general as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, off lane. I mean, obviously the hero makes more sense there, and Nightfall. Like the heroes make sense in their specific lanes, but not the players playing them. So
what happened, right, was that the pick order of the players after the draft was over was that EG picked their heroes, and then afterwards 5RATFORCESTAFF picked theirs, and you can't swap heroes, right, in CM. So I think if EG would have waited and let 5RATFORCESTAFF pick first, I think it would have been Abed, Razor mid, and Nightfall offlane like him. I think they're doing this because the laning setup itself is more important than who plays what lane. But obviously, if EG could stick to their comfort, I think they would still put Abed mid. So I wouldn't read too much into this. It's just a consequence of the pick order.
Yep, and they
but it's going to be funny to see.
Well, they talked about it in the panel as well, that these two teams have played against each other quite a bit via scrims. So obviously, they'll have a little bit more knowledge on, you know, little intricate details like this. So it could be a byproduct of that, or we're just reading too much into it. There's really no way to know. As we will be seeing the transition, DNM on the sniper will be in the mid lane now.
So they're going to ensure the Timber avoids the Razor lane, and they're going to be putting him bottom, which is an amazing lane for Timber here. Speed will be playing against Tiny Lycan as Timber saw, which is awesome. And the mid lane, obviously, Sniper against Razor should be fine for Sniper. I don't know. I'm very inexperienced when it comes to this matchup, but I feel like theoretically speaking, Sniper should be fine here.
Has been killed.
And then they get the best possible side lane that they could against the Ursa, which is the Dawn Edge. So I don't think 5RATFORCESTAFF could have set this up any better for themselves. Now it's about delivering in the lanes themselves and getting off to a good start. But
well, Arteezy's going to be playing his Cowboy Ursa, everybody's favorite cosmetic. Remember when this used to enrage people? And look at Dota now. Yeah,
it's very vanilla now to have the cowboy hat.
Yeah, but it's worth a lot of money, I'm sure. I actually have to check the marketplace to see how much it's
the Alpine Stalker set is definitely one of the rarer ones.
And of course, Arteezy would have access to that, being a part of EG. You know, a lot of these players that are really high profile, they get stuff sent to them by fans.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you people? These players are rich. They're millionaires, for God's sake. And speaking of the millionaire himself, Arteezy.
Are you one of those guys that goes into an XQC stream and you're like donating to Millionaire Omega Lol when somebody donates?
No, because I don't go on that stream and I don't type in chat. But I think that, yes.
Okay.
I do think that's odd. But that one makes a little bit more sense because at least your name is popping up. Like, they get some gratification out of that.
If you gift something to a player in the game and they keep your gift message on the item, then your item is in the game and it says that it's a gift from someone.
How many people check that, would you say? Tens of people.
I've seen some pro player with cool items that are like a gift from a fan or
one person?
Yeah, probably me. Which I feel like is very valuable that they get me to see.
That's true. If they know it's you, then it makes a little bit more sense.
I think that's very cool.
All right, that's fair. Abed in the offlane, like we talked about, 12 and 7, and Speed playing the Timber Saw, 16 and 6. So not
EG
too
have
big
done
of a surprise.
they've done a pretty good job manipulating the waves down here with crit on the Tiny to not just make this a flat-out standard laning position for both teams. Lycan doesn't want to play this lane under normal circumstances, so they have to get a little bit creative, and they've managed to do that so that the Lycan now, 13 for 7. It's not fantastic, but it's good enough for now for Abed. And Crit is going to look to make a move on mid, potentially, where he would have... That is one of the biggest problems for Sniper mid. This hero sucks when it gets ganked. And Tiny definitely one of the worst ones to get ganked by, but good read from DNM there. They do have the ward around that bottom area that saw Crit moving. So it was unsuccessful.
It's funny because Zeus had the same problem, right? And they gave him the jump ability. Sniper doesn't get that until Shard, right? So it doesn't really help him in the mid lane.
Imagine if Sniper had a jump skill. Oh my god.
Yeah, just add blinks to every hero. Why not?
Good pressure from Nightfall onto DNM in mid. Gets basically full link, so he should deny this entire wave.
Yeah, and he's sitting on really good CS right now in 20 and 10. And as you can see, the Sniper, who, I mean, DNM went a little bit late into the mid lane, so not exactly the most fair comparison, but still a bit behind. considerable amount. And Plasma Field's going to connect, and you see the right clicks coming from Nightfall. Not quite enough, as now Albino Zebra has TP'd.
Nightfall's actually in trouble here. He can get soloed by Clock.
Okay, Battery Assault level 2, but here comes Crit. Gets off the Avalanche, but inside the cogs is Nightfall. And you can see Crit just trying to stoke this up for his mid laner.
Important that Crit's there.
Plasma Field just clips Albino Zebra, but I don't think they can continue on with this. As a TP in backed by DNM, but not able to really follow it up with anything more.
This Dawn Inch lane is doing work against Ursa, by the way. 29 for 11 against the 19 and 3 on Arteezy's Ursa. I think this is the best part of the way that 5RATFORCESTAFF chose to set up their lanes, is the fact that they can actually limit Arteezy's early game with this Chen, which I don't think was something EG were expecting to happen. But Dawnbreaker is just one of those melee heroes that can go toe-to-toe with Ursa in lane. She's just that strong in the early levels. You combo that with an Ench. Ah, damn, look at that.
Yep.
Bullying him away. Just the main thing you need is to have a constant influx of mana. So I need to find a way to make sure Little Nick has mana for his spells, whether that's buying mangoes or clarities or having a Basilius on the Ench, whatever you want to do. You definitely need that the whole time. He has a Soul Ring now, so that will get big help.
6-minute rune trying to be contested from Albino Zebra. He gets tossed in the air and will be brought down to Nightfall, who gets the first blood as the mid laner this game for EG. I mean, when you get to the, let's say it gets to mid to late game, like carry potential, I mean, obviously it's way different lineups. Razor's more of an anti-carry, Lycan is more of a pusher, and Sniper's just more of like that sit back and try to right click. But who would you favor in like a late game scenario?
It really depends where the fight takes place. I think if it takes place in the Radiant base, I think that's very difficult to push into, the Sniper Dawn Clock trio and Chakram as well. But anywhere out in the open, I think Lycan is going to make Sniper's life in particular miserable. You really need to be careful about this matchup. So overall, I guess most conditions later on in the game, I think EG...
Nightfall looks to be very dead. Assassinate is enough from DNM. Nice setup there by Albino Zebra, who's been all over the place on this clockwork early on. As you can see, Fly being scouted out by Giant. I mean, that's another thing we haven't talked about, is the Enchantress versus Chen. How does that play out these days? Because typically, I mean, back in the day, the Enchantress was just like a hard counter to Chen.
Right. The cooldowns have obviously shifted quite a lot with the Enchant and the Persuasion, so I think it's less clear-cut now.
Uh-oh. Oh, Arteezy gets a bit blocked, but I think they'll find this eventually. Fly will take it.
Oh, he took the Purge.
Okay, and inside Little Nick goes with that Starbreaker, so they'll at least get a trade. And in the mid lane, DNM getting soloed by Nightfall. Will he die to the tower? Pops the Fairy Fire and will survive. As Little Nick actually ended up dying to Arteezy on the other side. Oh, you dropped an item there, young man. Nightfall gets killed by Speed, and that's a shovel if they see it, and they will.
Yep, Albino's going to steal that, so +1 neutral item for the Radiant.
All right, we'll see how. I mean, you think neutral items are very strong, too strong. So if it's a 6 versus 4 neutral items.
Yeah, then you can give a neutral item to your 6th hero.
If you have a lone druid, it would have been great. So yeah, we'll see what the items... I mean, that gives you a better chance of getting an item that is a little bit more powerful for your specific hero.
I think it's more about the fact that the enemy team is missing one than you having an extra, right? They will have a hero without a neutral item until minute 17. So that sucks for EG. It's not the end of the world, especially not with level 1 items. If that happens with a key level 4 item, for example, it can really be impactful in the right circumstance.
Right. I mean, it's unlike the Alliance game where Nico Baby went without that just by choice for the first 15, 20 minutes.
Did that happen?
He didn't have a neutral item for a long time. Maybe it wasn't that. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but it was quite a while. As the Avalanche is there, Penitence to follow, and Crit and company. You can see Abed in his wolf form. They will be netting him and destroying him. Let's see if they transition to the tier 1 push.
What do you think about the fact that neutral items drop on the ground? Do you think that's a good implementation? You could imagine that you could just get it in your inventory, right? When you kill the creep. Right. And if you don't have space in your backpack, it gets teleported to base.
Oh, Little Nick.
What do you think?
We're going to have to hold that amazing mechanic thought from you, Cinderit. Arteezy.
He is.
Looks like they want to clean up even more. They're going to get 2 kills out of this little mini exchange up here. So nicely done from EG. I think it's a cool... I like it, actually.
That it drops?
I like the The idea of people stealing neutrals is cool. For sure. No question. Are you saying you don't like that?
I'm not sure. I'm a little bit on the fence because I feel like sometimes it's just a lot down to chance, right? It's just like you're killing a camp and then randomly as you're killing the creep, you get ganked, and there's like, it's not premeditated from either side, so it's just like luck that it drops as you're getting stunned. Like in that example with Nightfall, right?
Yeah.
He's just at that camp and coincidentally at that moment the neutral item drops, he's getting ganked, so they lose an item. Like, you could argue that it's a moment of
cool.
it's a moment of opportunity, right? But it's also just a little bit, you know.
Has been killed.
An early tier 1 tower taken out in the bot lane by Abed, who has kind of just been left alone. Has his Helmet of the Dominator.
Classic Lycan.
And we'll be going for the Vlad. I mean, talk to me about the build on Lycan these days. Is there much of a much variation?
Not on the first item. I think basically every Lycan right now goes home of the Overlord, right?
Yeah.
But then after that, there's some variation. Sometimes you see the Axe as the next item. Some people buy Shard just for added map pressure. And some people go more of a like semi or like more of a carry route for themselves, like AC or ACDKB, these kind of items. I think in this game, the wolf form is pretty crazy on Ursa, so you could go Axe, but with the entirety of their lineup taken into consideration, I think AC is probably the best overall item.
We got the Centaur stomp onto Little Nick, the second one to come, but the TP support has come with the sniper in tow along with speed. You can see the Chakram, and yeah, Fly might have to be the sacrifice. Assassinate is there. So DNM and company doing a nice job of kind of countering this EG gank. But bot lane on the other side, Abed trying to take out Albino Zebra. The hookshot's going to miss, and Little Nick has come with the Solar Guardian, but they're not going to get any kills out of it other than that troll. But I have to say, I mean, they're down 1k right now on the side of 5RATFORCESTAFF, but I feel like they've looked pretty good. Obviously, this is going to basically even it up. Well, as I say that, it increases to 2k, but
they're definitely holding their own. I think the biggest problem in this game is just the sniper mid has been exploited a little bit. Aside from that, it's an even game across the board. He's the one who's behind. And the issue with that is sniper does not play very well from behind, so you would have ideally loved that hero to have a better start than this. At the same time, it's not disaster territory by any means, but you just know that you take into account that he is playing against this Tiny who's going to get a dagger as well as the Lycan. It's definitely a little bit problematic, and he will have to get a pike probably very early.
No. Lil Nick getting caught off guard again. Static Link with the toss set up. Buys himself a little bit of space, but not quite enough to get away.
I
So
swear sometimes Static Link just seems like absurdly long. Like, that looked like it would have snapped.
I mean, it's an electric leash. I feel like it should be long.
Yeah, didn't that look like it would break if you were playing the Razor?
Of course.
Yeah.
But that's because something is coded in the game for all my heroes to suck.
Oh, that's true.
As a tier 2 tower taken out at not even 13 minutes,
Yeah,
which
that
leads
one-
to an early outpost for EG.
That one hurts because there is basically no way 5RATFORCESTAFF get a tier 2 of their own in even the remotely near future, so they're playing at a pretty severe map control disadvantage right now. Having lost the outpost will, you know, give more of a funnel into EG as well in terms of experience, and you're also going to struggle about the Roche. We haven't really talked about that very much, but the Radiant's Roshan taking capabilities are god-awful, and the Dyers are very good. So that will be an objective that EG has their eyes on, in addition to having better map control. So any move mid now that is successful for EG will just give them a free rush. You've got to really be careful if you're 5RATFORCESTAFF about how you place your heroes on the map.
Yep, and it's one of those, I mean, we talk about this all the time, but Ursa is balanced around the fact that you're going to be killing Roche. So if you're able to deny that somehow, which, I mean, looking at 5RATFORCESTAFF, they're going to have trouble doing that until late
I wonder
game.
what Ursa's win rate is when his team doesn't kill Roche.
Yeah, that would be a really interesting
stat. It's got to be pretty bad compared to other carry heroes.
It's literally like balanced around the fact that you're expecting Roche to go his way a majority of the time. So, yeah. But we'll see. See if they're able to contest. I mean, in terms of like the actual Roche fight, you got the hook shot for the potential steal. You got
TCT being top here. Diffusal, no mana.
Yeah, speed. He's going to get some heals coming in. Pops the wand as well. And Little Nick gets a nice stun onto Arteezy, who's going to turn his sights onto Little Nick instead. And Speed trying to run away, but Nightfall has come now. And inside the cogs, it looks like Albino Zebra does a nice job of separating Arteezy from the rest of the pack. So he's the sacrifice this time. Toss, not quite enough. Speed still trying to buy a little bit of space here, but you can see in the bottom lane, Ovid is just pushing the tier 3 tower as the rest of 5RATFORCESTAFF just trying to get the hell out of here. Lil Nick into the trees. Looks like he, well, attempting to TP out the avalanche. Oh my god, that was so close.
Actually, amazing escape play there from 5RATFORCESTAFF. The fact that Timber and Dawn got away there was pretty incredible, but you know, as flashy as it looks, you still got pressured really hard bot, like you said, and you are going to lose the Roche. So without any kills, this is still a major win for EG, but it could have been a lot worse.
Does he have 3 centaurs, by the way? What is this? It's 3.
Yep. And now another stun. Well, now technically he has another 3 stuns. So.
Yeah. You should have like a sacrifice button on that Mud Golem. You stun him once, and you just hit the sacrifice button, and it kills him immediately.
What an insane creep.
You think that'd be too good?
Yeah.
Really?
That would be crazy.
All right.
If you could just choose to get 3 rock throws in a row.
Yeah. But then you die right after.
Well, the golem does.
Yeah. And if you don't kill the target within 5 seconds, your hero dies as well.
Okay. Now we're talking. You know I love high risk, high reward things like Oracle spells and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, upsides and downsides. Yeah. You know what? How about that for a hero spell design? You give yourself a timer, and if you don't find a kill, you die.
That was kind of gambler, honestly, from back in the day.
But like, imagine how Shallow Grave works, right? You have 5 seconds and then you die after. Imagine that as an ult that empowered you. So for 5 seconds you get like really strong, but if you don't kill anyone in that time, you die. That actually sounds kind of interesting as a spell, to be honest.
Valve,
like,
if you'd like to commission us to design here, we are available for free.
I suppose that's pseudo how battle trans works on Troll.
Yeah.
If you don't kill people in that, you're always just getting kited and die.
That's true.
But
and we know how much we love that ultimate. 3.5 minutes left on the Aegis. The Speed is still pushing the tier 2, and I don't think
he's just gonna get this, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's the fort. And let's see if he continues. I mean, there's still a siege creep here as well. And finally a TP comes, but a lot of damage to this tower as Arteezy is the one defending with that Aegis.
I wonder what took them so long with this defense. I don't know if they have TP cooldown on Ursa there, but I mean, he has Aegis, so I don't think he's very exposed by TPing down there first. Yeah, Speed's got to be pretty happy about that. 80% of the tower is gone, and that will open up for them to get the outpost in the top half.
Yeah, I'm an EG with a 2K lead.
Surprising Albino Zebra isn't taking back the outpost here. I feel like he should have the information that that is a very safe area for him right now, but just opting to let EG keep it. And even if it might seem kind of irrelevant to take this back, it actually matters more than you would think. Okay, that's a dead end. It takes away an access point for the enemy team. It gives you the bonus back that the outpost inherently gives every minute. And it's fine here. And on top of that, like, sometimes a fight breaks out somewhere that is not necessarily, you know, very planned for either team, and just having that buyback play with the outpost in the area is really, really powerful. The fact that the potential kind of fights that could happen in this game right now all favor EG because they have both outposts, right?
Yeah.
So no matter where it happens, if it's out in the open and they have the resources.
So that was your, like, 3-minute way of saying that outposts are good.
Yeah, you got the gist of it.
Okay, thank you. You know what? When you write your memoirs one day, I'll write the Cliff's Notes, okay? We'll see which one sells better. Sound good?
Can you buy notes?
And we have the shard now on...
Do you want to sell it separately, like a DLC?
Well, maybe NFTs will be more acceptable back then as well.
All right, I'll write my memoirs. You can write the NFT.
So Fly now able to take over Ancient Creep. So we'll see how fast he wants to get rid of these Centaurs, or if he keeps one for the stun, because none of the Ancient Creeps have that. No more Prowlers, mind you, which is makes me a little sad, honestly. Mainly from a spectator standpoint, because it was fun watching people get destroyed by the Ancients.
It's going to be a while before he gets more Ancients, right? He can only have one for now, and level 12 is pretty far away. So.
Yeah, we're watching the replay, taking the Black Dragon. Very exciting. I guess they're noting that he didn't have Hand of God yet, or Hand of Gaben, sorry, which he does now. EG grouping up, still with that Aegis. Hook shot in though into the Solar Guardian. All right, they're gonna get a 1-for-1 trade to start things out. Chen for Clockwork, as Lil Nick forced to use his BKB, but he's getting chased by Arteezy. And Speed, speaking of getting chased, has the leash from Nightfall applied to him. Speed. Oh, is he actually going to get out? No, Abed is way too fast, but the Timber Chain to the other side. Nicely done. Some way, somehow he lives, as Arteezy continuing his rampage, deletes DNM, has a mega kill. Looks like he might drop, but again, will be able to revive. The buyback now onto the Clockwork, as Nightfall just covering Arteezy. Oh, a big toss back. And this is going to be a dieback onto Albino Zebra. So EG clicking on all cylinders suddenly is Lil Nick. Looks like he'll be next on the list, and just like that, it's a 4-for-1. If you count that dieback, well, technically it's a 6-for-1 then, isn't it?
No,
5-for-1. NA math.
What's 4 + 1?
I forgot that Timber didn't die, Cinder. Okay, he had 1 HP.
I mean, I guess depending on how you look at it, you could technically call it 6-for-1 because you didn't only die twice, you also lost the goal of the buyback.
Sure.
So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that was what you meant.
Sure, I meant that. Yep.
Yeah. You're really selling it.
But yeah,
like the footnotes of the book.
Cliff's Notes.
Oh.
That's different. Very different, actually.
What's the difference?
Nobody reads footnotes.
Oh.
Cliff's Notes are very important to American society. Otherwise, nobody would actually pass their classes because nobody likes to read. We are covering NA. You need to understand NA culture at its best. As Crit gets out the avalanche toss back into Arteezy's arms. And, okay, that is the concussive grenade, but you can see the diffusal blade is used to take out the sniper in tow. Arteezy, though, getting kited, blocked off. Looks like he might drop. Indeed, he does. So, big kill for 5RATFORCESTAFF, but Crit comes back in, deletes Albino Zebra, tosses back Speed. And it looks like Nightfall and company actually get more aggressive here. Not sure if they want to chase into the actual base, as the Starbreaker will connect with the BKB just in time from Nightfall, continuing to chase Giant. Well, he'd probably taste them too because it is a deer, which we both had, and it's very delicious. But either way, leads to yet another kill for EG.
And he tased him because he's Razor.
That's true. That sounds like animal cruelty.
It's pretty cruel what happened there. So
is Abed working on an assault cuirass, as we're gonna look at a pretty early concussive grenade.
And he had no choice.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's most games on Sniper, because if you're picking a sniper, they're gonna pick something that can just get up in your face.
this is a really nice play from Crit. Blink and Avalanche, and then he has the toss to reset out. If he uses both or uses just the toss, I think he ends up dying to the Timber there. So nice little reset play. Also want to commend 5RATFORCESTAFF on. They've done a pretty damn good job in this game at escaping hairy situations, right? We had the play top earlier with 2 of them escape. Then we had the great escape from Speed at the top tier 2 of their own. So they've done a good job mitigating losses, but the problem is they're not finding kills of their own. Like, they keep escaping. And I think the biggest problem they have in terms of posing a threat is just that this sniper has been shut down really hard strategically in the game. Having to buy concussive grenade is 1,400 out of the bank. That means you still don't have your pike, which he might not even be buying. I feel like he needs both, doesn't he?
The problem is when you get both, you just have nothing to.
Yeah, then you have no
things
damage, and that's kind of that kind of shows the problem that this hero can have in the right circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have to itemize like that and to feel happy, then it's about choosing the lesser evil here, which might be the build that he's going for, honestly. I mean, obviously concussive grenade is cheaper than upgrading the Dragonlance to a pike. So this way maybe he can buy some more damage. Crit.
EG increased this to an 8k lead now, as Crit is going to get hook shot. It's off the Avalanche, but here comes the Solar Guardian, so it looks like Crit is done. And the rest of EG, not sure if they want to fight. Kill off yet another Ancient, but Lil Nick taking heavy damage in this engagement. BKB for Arteezy. I'm not sure how long ago that was picked up, but it is at the 9-second mark. Also has that Blink Dagger. As we're going to see a smoke now from 5RATFORCESTAFF. No hook shot for another 24 seconds, though. So their initiation without that. What else do they have? It's just really Timber Chain. It's kind of not the most reliable.
Well, Sniper can
Enchantress
concussive grenade himself in.
Yep, that sounds like a winning play.
That is catch, because the enemy team is going to turn on you. So you have caught them.
They catch you.
Yeah.
In that case. And Nightfall getting very close to a refresher orb already. That's going to be really interesting to see how good of a timing that is.
That was not what he wanted.
Albino Zebra is just dead inside his own cogs.
He was trying to hit Tiny, who sidestepped it, and then he hooked Roche. That sucks.
Roche is a very powerful creature, unless you're a bear, because that makes sense. Bears overpower whatever the hell this thing is. That is a second Roche for EG. So Aegis and Shard, which I believe was consumed by Arteezy, so the Earth Shock will give you the little mini enrage.
Still one of the best shards in the game, probably.
Yep, it's been nerfed a couple times, but agreed. Up Diffusal. Giant is dead. So Arteezy, top net worth in the game by a pretty respectable margin.
Struggling to see us under the end shield that lingers after you die, so he's just healing the creep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, Deso now online for Lil Nick. So he has the BKB Deso, and his main way to enter fights is with his ultimate. Other than that, the main initiation still seems quite reliant on just that, the hookshot from Albino Zebra. Catching Nightfall, Solar Guardian to follow with the BKB from Nightfall, and now the chase onto Lil Nick. Pops that plasma field, and he is doing so much damage to Lil Nick. Gets off that Starbreaker, but only connects with a couple of right clicks, so he falls very shortly after. Is Arteezy not scared of anybody, has the BKB, and still with the Aegis and everything in tow, as DNM is going to be next, and this is looking like the beginning of the end of game number 1, EG. They have the push potential, and they have the net worth lead right now.
Damn, I just feel like DNM can't play his hero in this game. It's just you really like when you see the potential that 5RATFORCESTAFF have when they get to initiate the fights like this. Obviously the BKBs are becoming a big problem for them as well. It shuts down their timber largely, but it's just got to be miserable playing sniper.
Yeah,
it's just not having a good time at all. He did opt for the pike, by the way, so he double dipped on escape, and it just still doesn't really matter.
Yep, so that's 2 sets of racks, and going for the third. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this. The toss back again, nicely done from Crit, as they're able to clean up speed very easily. The Enchantress is next. Little Nick has to walk away with that BKB activated. And the buyback did come from the Timber Saw, so speed. Looks like he might be able to get the Aegis, but only a range racks remains for 5RATFORCESTAFF. As you can see, the Wolves continue to apply some pressure there. Not sure if EG are going to continue on, as the hook shot's going to keep Nightfall in the base. He buys his Shivas before he drops. Either way, EG very happy with this total exchange.
Well, Sniper, at the very least, for his sake, got that killing blow, so
you precious weak.
he got about 1,000 gold for that kill. Will probably pretty much cover his buyback that he had to expend there. I do believe, at least. Did he buy back? Maybe he didn't, actually.
Well, Enchantress is dead.
Oh, well, what do you know?
Fury swipes. Good ability.
Yeah, this is another problem for Sniper. Even if you have these 2 escape, now that Ursa has Basher, he can actually still kill you. You can die before you get to react if he bashes on one of the 2 first swings when he blinks in.
Yep, the battle is on. Speed has to be careful. He needs to Timber Chain away, but inside the cogs, nicely done from Albino Zebra. Saves Speed for a little bit, but not going to be long enough. Oh, wait, he actually Timber Chains away. Lil Nick, okay, they're layering the stunts quite nicely, so Arteezy takes a tumble. And DNM, nope, he's going to get Avatos into oblivion. So another kill on the Sniper, as Albino Zebra trying to TP out, but will not make it.
It's a Dragon Grave crits for 530
Really?
with Shapeshift.
Goodness.
So insane.
This just
Oh
felt
my
like a
goodness.
really good Ursa game. I mean, you have 3 strength heroes. You have, and obviously Ursa's just amazing against Timbersaw. And it's good against Enchantress because you pretty much make up for the untouchable.
Yep.
And it's really Sniper is, you know, you just get a Blink Dagger at some point.
Yep.
Or you just have other heroes that kind of jump them, which is exactly what they have. They're just a really good Ursa game overall.
Great use of that last pick for the game. They did take a lot of time before they picked their last hero, but well worth it here. The choice they made was super high impact. That's Mega Creeps for EG. And they might just try to end it as soon as Arteezy is up. Might just chill for a moment here.
Yep, they do not want to risk it. Just trying to play as disciplined as possible as Arteezy's back in 5 seconds, so expect them to regroup. And I highly, highly doubt they wait for the Aegis. His hookshot onto the creep, but Albino Zebra finds the space to get Nightfall inside of those cogs, who actually pops his refresher along with the BKB. And down goes Albino Zebra, no buyback. And this is where I believe 5RATFORCESTAFF will end up falling. Although DNM has nice high ground capabilities.
He's
here.
hitting them.
Yep, he's hitting them with that Dragon Lance. As Lil Nick somehow able to limp back to base. At speed. He's actually been doing a pretty good job of not dying, if I'm being honest.
Yep.
In a lot of these engagements.
I mean, EG have 32 kills, and he's died once on Timber. Usually when you get stomped that hard on kills, it's kind of more more spread across the board. But
Yep, and Arteezy still chasing him. Oh my god, he actually found him. All right, you cursed him. He doubled his death since he started talking.
100 seconds, no Timber. This should be the end of the game, EG. Just chill here, take it easy. Slowly but steadily take down the towers with...
Crit. Has to dodge the assassinate, and Arteezy just trying to finish this one off in style. Now the Dawnbreaker gets off the successful ult onto Arteezy. But Lil Nick will have to hammer back to Fountain just to try to survive a little bit longer.
Was pretty brave from Lil Nick. If he got bashed there while his hammer was in the air so he couldn't converge, he could have just died.
Wow, very risky business when you're down Mega Creeps and about to lose the game anyway.
Yeah.
I don't understand that comment at all. That was a real analysis from you.
Yeah.
That was really risky. They're literally about to lose the game. Cinderin. Okay.
Oh.
That's what we're watching right now.
Oh.
As they are farming the fountain. Okay? They're farming the fountain. The Ancient is dying. The game has ended. No GGs. Interesting, actually.
Oh, they're coming out now.
No,
At least from EG.
That's from
they're
EG.
coming now. There's one from Lil Nick as well.
Okay.
Says GG. Maybe they aren't saying GG on 5RATFORCESTAFF because they thought it wasn't a good game.
That's possible.
Maybe they were like, we didn't play well, therefore not good game. It's like the good old I say GG, but I mean BG.
Great sportsmanship, as always. I mean, Lil Nick is a good, clean boy. I knew that NA Dota would not corrupt him, so kudos to him.
The moment you saw what Lil Nick looks like, you were like, that guy says GG after every game. Even in the pub games where he's been flamed by all 5 opponents, they've tipped him all game. This guy will say GG.
He's a nice lad. I mean, not much to say about this game. Last pick for Arteezy, which was the Ursa, just absolutely crushed. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but it was just a really good Ursa game, and I think they would have had trouble regardless of the skill level or skill discrepancy between these teams. But either way,
It was cool to see Albert play offlane as well.
yep, that is true.
A little bit of a spice.
Nice to see Storm Spirit not get picked first from EG. So
Very cool.
they haven't been doing that lately, and that's great to see. Hopefully we see more of that. But yeah, game 2 coming up next. Stay tuned.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Gaben levels right off the bat, but 5RATFORCESTAFF proved to be competitive, and I admire the tenacity to not GG out, to go on to the bitter end, get farmed in the fountain a little bit. But it was for me more competitive than I was expecting. But maybe that's just because I had a very low expectation out of 5RATFORCESTAFF. Effie, how about you? What were you thinking?
I hate Effie. Okay.
Purge, wait your turn.
Is it my turn or
It's your
Purge's
turn.
Yes, it's your
Purge
turn.
needs to behave.
Okay. No, I'm definitely impressed with how they played that early game, but I would consider that kind of a shellacking. I think that, yeah, in spite of some moments where it looked like, okay, they drew out the fights a little bit, the laning stage went better than expected, they still had no answer for the Lycan split push. They still could not contest those 2 Roshans that Ursa took, and at some point it was just smooth sailing for EG once they were hitting those timings and running around with 2 ancient creep summons and just having 3 cores who are incredibly farmed, of course, helped a lot. But it definitely looked really good. I just want to give a very specific shout out to Nightfall on that Razor mid. Like, this guy can just do it all. Like, this player, you can confidently say, is a world-class player on all 3 core roles. Like, it was absurd how much he stomped that sniper mid. And I think in retrospect, that sniper had to have regretted his skill build a little bit because he went for his passives initially instead of leveling shrapnel versus Razor, where at the very least, if you get linked, you can drop the shrapnel and kind of force the Razor away from you. He didn't do that. He went for the passives early on, and I think it made it so that Nightfall could completely bully him out of lane. And because Sniper had such a difficult start, there really was no entry point back into the game for him, unfortunately, despite how well Timbersaw was doing.
As a whole, though, like I think they did pretty good, though. I mean, when the clip started, it were 20 minutes into the game. They were only 4,000 net worth behind EG. That means they went about even on the lanes, even if Sniper was behind. They kept it kind of close for a while, and yeah, EG got towers really quickly. They had pretty good map control for the majority of it. But the way they played this game was in my opinion, how Arteezy described it in his interview. He's like, oh, we scrimmed them a lot. Like, he described them as okay, but they played bad recently. Yeah. So this kind of seems like, if I had to assume what their scrims versus EG looks like. So I think it was a good showing for them. Ultimately, the sniper definitely had some issues, and they also had issues like comboing their Dawnbreaker ulti, like killing Razor kind of just felt impossible. There wasn't good stun follow-up after Clockwork went in. Typically, you needed like one other hero to layer that. They didn't have that, so that made the game a little bit tough as a whole. So yep, they get worked down. EG eventually just gets an overwhelming advantage and wins.
And who did you select for your player v player head-to-head, Purge?
I wanted to look at the damage comparison between Sniper and Ursa personally.
All right.
Drop the screen, thank you.
Drop the screen. Let's get the Predator in here. Because
I mean, we asked for it somewhere like halfway through the game. And Sniper's damage is usually relatively high because Shrapnel inflates it a little bit here. But relatively close, certainly. But Arteezy was definitely very active. I think he was like 3-0-2 by the mid game, so he'd been active in laning kills. He had rotated a little bit, gotten some pickoffs. Ultimately, his ability to control the map was a lot higher. You saw him a couple times. He would just cross the map, kill Enchantress, because it didn't take him much effort at all with the Ursa. So definitely both played decent considering the circumstances, but Arteezy played real solid this game.
And Effie,
It was also just a really great Ursa game, too.
It was a great Ursa game. You can. I'll retract the window. Zoop. Continue.
Oh no. So what were you asking, Neil?
I was gonna say that you shouted out Nightfall on mid, but how did you feel about the plan to do all these lane swaps? It wasn't the player being in their traditional spot. Abed was playing off-lane Lycan. Was that necessary, or do you think EG was just trying something here?
No, I think that in terms of wanting the advantageous lanes, like we mentioned earlier in the last draft panel, the most difficult lane would have been the Lycan versus the Timbersaw. So if you can avoid that, and if you have players that you're comfortable putting on different roles, like when the time comes down to it, and they can succeed that well, I think that was really great by EG. I mean, overall, you do want to make sure that the Lycan gets a decent start, because that's where all of your opposite side map pressure is going to happen away from Roche, which, by the way, is one of the coolest things about having Lycan with Ursa, is like Abed was constantly pushing out that bottom lane, bringing pressure down there. So Roche was always uncontested.
Yeah.
So I think they played it incredibly well.
Made an ocean of space for that Ursa. And Evil Geniuses take game number 1. Let's see if 5RATFORCESTAFF have a rebuttal for game number 2. We are closing out week number 4. Damn it, I was so close. It was so close. We're closing out week number 4 here in the North American DPC, and I am losing my marbles. I have to talk to LED screens all day long, and the pigs in the studio are my only friends. Game number 2.
You're gonna be okay, Neil.
Okay.
Am I though? It's easy for you to say.
I don't know. You look a little demented over there, I gotta say.
Whoa, you've been dropping some SAT words during this entire broadcast. Nefarious,
first time ever.
demented. Give me a draft.
All right then.
Give me it. Oh my god. There.
I'm a little disappointed, I will say, right off the bat, is because we kind of talked about this idea a little bit beforehand for EG, but I think in the slightly, or not slightly, I don't have to sugarcoat it, the less competitive series that they're going to play, I do think that's a pretty good time for them to try new openers, then resort to their like tried and true Puck and Tusk. But I guess that you can say that they're even their tiny razor isn't unusual. I was hoping for a little bit more creativity out of the opening 2, because these are the best times, especially the game 2s of a series where you win the first game, are the best times for you to maybe pull something out of the woodwork. But I guess EG just want to like secure their win, call it a day early.
I would argue that you were mentioning that part of the experimentation in this series would maybe give Quincy Crew some information on Evil Geniuses. So maybe them relying on the tried and true is them keeping their cards close to their chest, so they don't need to show anything off quite yet.
Potentially, they could be going for the next level 5D chess or whatever. But I do think these game 2s are really good opportunities for these more established teams to kind of test the waters a little bit. Like we've seen it with TSM and their pudges and their techies and all of that. And yeah, you can argue that TSM are not having the best outcome right now, but I think they're overall like just very happy to do this. In Moon's interview, he did say that he's bored of all of these standard fights.
I mean, I love that Moon does that, but I think that, and I would love for EG to play like that too, but I don't blame them for playing mega serious, right? Because their opportunity to go to the major is very solid right now, with TSM being 2-2. They don't want to mess up anything. Not that I necessarily see 5RATFORCESTAFF beating them twice or anything, but I'm not surprised that they're going to stick to standard stuff, especially while they still try to figure out their identity as a team, since they are off of a recent roster swap. I say just play boring and standard as possible, and on the bright side, we still get to see them play some of their best heroes with the Puck and the Tusk.
Yeah, whereas 5RAT themselves decide to diverge a little bit from what they have played in this tour so far with a Nature's Prophet and a Skyrath Mage, and I think both of these heroes have to be first-time picks for them. I cannot remember them running either throughout this entire tour, so maybe they're taking it upon themselves. Yeah, but I mean,
it got banned first phase last game, so
you're probably right.
The Prophet got banned first phase. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the NP and the Skyrath Mage goes, like NP is a much higher tempo hero than some of the picks that they played with last time. And as far as combinations go, like you do have Sprout into Silence into Mystic Flare potentially later on, especially when NP levels up and gets that leash talent, which makes it harder for heroes like Tusk and Puck to play into. But yeah, and you also have the instant silence of the Skyrath Mage versus Puck. A big deal in playing versus Puck is just making sure you can kill it. So Skyrath Mage in the past has been a bit of an answer to it, but it's still not my favorite answer to Puck, to be completely honest. It feels like it's easy to itemize against silences.
Yeah, and if Puck ever goes on you first, he just destroys you. There's like nothing you can do survivability wise. He'll kill you before you get on silence, so that part's spooky for sure. But yeah, interested to see how they play the NP this game. I assume it'll just be super standard stuff. Mouse from BKB. Maybe that's why they like the timing, because once you get BKB, then you can take it to Puck a little bit, helps pressure towers, opens up the map a little bit, makes it harder for Puck to play with his team. Do you want to talk about Earth Spirit for 10 minutes now?
We got the ooh, and that was it.
No, it's just interesting, because I do think Earth Spirit is probably one of the best fours that you can have in playing versus Puck in the early game. He just has a lot of ways to control him. Like his silence used to be instant, but now it does have a little bit of a cast point, but still very difficult to dodge. And you do have the stun follow-up, the potential to like gank mid early on. But I think the biggest thing about this Earth Spirit is being able to match the pace of the Tusk early on. But the thing is, when you see it with a Sky Mage, it doesn't look like a 4. Because Sky Mage is usually played as 4. You do assign farm priority to that hero because he isn't one of those supports that can play with Swan, who's just so weak if he doesn't get his Atos or his Blink or whatever the Sky player wants to do. So we're actually looking at the potential of a core Earth Spirit in this game.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Dazzle pick is pretty fun. It's been trending in pro pubs, and some pros have been picking it. Hasn't really been changed much since before the major, but obviously other aspects of Dota have. There's less regen in your laning stage. Grave is pretty solid right now too, but a lot of the value of the hero comes down to the amount of heal you can output. It also combos nicely with Lycan, because you can Shadow Wave the Wolves. The Wolves will then do more damage with Shadow Wave, and then when you actually use your ultimate Bad Juju, it'll do more damage if you've recently applied multiple stacks of Shadow Wave. So that's one cool way to make it more effective. You can also counter push waves. You can basically be the solution against Skywrath Mage if Tusk isn't there as well with Grave. Grave is certainly enough to solidify that. But yeah, sometimes as a hero, as a 5, it can kind of struggle a bit if it doesn't scale.
That's the most important aspect of picking this Dazzle, is like that's your solution to the Skywrath Mage burst that you're going to consider later on in the game. The scariest thing for Dazzle is there are heroes that can control him and get on top of him in the back, in the Earth Spirit, in the Nature's Prophet TP, and potentially the Skywrath Mage aiming to cast the spells on Dazzle instead. But you do have the backup save of the Tusk Snowball later on, so there are ways for EG to maybe try to save each other on these two supports. But yeah, this Earth Spirit is very interesting. This looks like a mid-Earth Spirit, honestly. You can also have a mid-Nature's Prophet or a 5 Nature's Prophet or an offlane Earth Spirit. The Sky ES lane seems like there's potential there to maybe exploit the Dazzle, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like going down this Earth Spirit route, who is a really super aggressive core type in the early game, can be easily shut down if the lane just gets exploited a little bit, and it seems like so far EG's lanes are pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it do well, certainly, but there's been some off games as well on the hero. Picking it this early does make it seem a little bit more up in the air for sure. Sven also a little bit of a weird pick. It's gonna give them a lot of armor, which is great against Dazzle and Lycan and Tusk. There's a lot of physical damage between those 3 heroes. But I don't really like Sven against Puck too much, I gotta say. Very difficult to stun him. You'll be able to deal with the Lycan summons pretty easily, and offsetting those across the map is going to be really solid. But I don't know, Sven's kind of interesting.
And Sven will definitely scale very nicely versus the Lycan. Also, if he ever gets that shard, that's just going to be a nice armor boost for his entire team versus this draft so far, which seems very dependent on physical damage, with the exception of Puck's nukes. But a lot of these Pucks just opt to play right-click with Witchblade anyway. I would say most do, to be honest. So yeah, for me, I'm just a little bit concerned for 5RAT. I like the creativity in their draft, definitely, and I like the aggression that's coming out of their draft, definitely, but you're depending entirely on your Earth Spirit and Sky to catch this Puck. So if it backfires, it seems like Puck might potentially have free reign in the game where he came out in the first phase.
Especially if Sven is like off lane or something, right? Because then he's not going to even have as much like damage potential to follow up stuns with. So then if they're just relying on silences, Puck just needs like one defensive item or a little cover from his team and he never dies, I feel like.
Earth Spirit is a little unique in that if he's played as a core and gets like a nice BKB timing, you can just like follow up with a lot of rolls. Like it's easy to kind of catch the Puck out if he doesn't itemize early. Like Earth Spirit is one of the better heroes at catching Puck early. There's just 2 saves coming out of EG, which are just going to make his job a lot harder. I feel like this is 100% a carry Sven. I don't think you want to put it on the offlane here. It's just going to get bullied by the Dazzle Poison Touch and now the Luna. Yeah, Sun would get owned.
So EG going into even more of a death push lineup. Dazzle works really well for that, keeps your creeps alive. Bad Juju will heal your squad up as well, give them armor to allow you to all in. And then once Luna gets like BKB, they can definitely like ball up and exploit the enemy squad. They don't have the best initiation and mobility. That's one weakness on the EG squad. It's kind of down to like Tusk Puck and maybe when Lycan has his ulti. So maybe 5RATFORCESTAFF can kind of like jump in and out and poke them. But if they're deathballed together, it's going to be hard to slow them down. They're going to have to like split push the map a lot. to avoid EG if and when they get ahead. And that sounds really difficult.
Okay, I'm glad this coddle came out because you look at this Lycan and it was unsolved, honestly. The Sven as a solution to Lycan comes out way later in the game after Sven gets a couple of items, but you do need some kind of wave clear, some kind of AoE damage to like potentially push these lanes out. Because it doesn't, EG don't really need to have like the best fight initiations, they just need to run down these lanes with the Lycan and like hit that Luna timing early, and Coddle is a really great solution to that. So it looks like it's just going to be mid Coddle, offlane Sky ES, and 5 Nature's Prophet.
Yep, it is mid Coddle. And yeah, Giant going to be playing it. So 4 on that, on the Earth Spirit, and 5
So
Sky, I guess.
Sky is getting the... Okay, so it's a mid Nature's Prophet.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It was offlane.
I guess, okay, so I guess offlane Coddle shouldn't have that hard of a time as well, but I would have preferred if it had gone mid, really. I think that in the Coddle versus Puck matchup, it only gets scary once Puck hits 6+1 rotation, but you should be able to like hit your timings on that hero and farm. It could be a player comfort kind of thing.
I feel like he just gets crushed by a Tusk rotation, though. There's like no way he doesn't die and then get behind, in my opinion. I feel like if you're off lane, maybe you can lane pressure the Luna a bit better. Does that sound reasonable?
I think you can say the same about Nature's Prophet to a Tusk rotation as well, but it's just something they've probably played and talked about. I think 5RATFORCESTAFF is really creative. I think the Coddle solved a lot of the lane issues that they're going to have, but I still heavily favor EG's draft here just because I think the lanes are solid, the Lycan can just kind of attract attention to the side. Earth Spirit and Sky can really fail at their jobs here with like a +1 item, and they've got 2 saves on the side of EG. It looks like they've just got a really solid 5-man draft, whereas 5RAT has to play the map a lot better and a lot more cleverly.
Why make the Prophet the mid as opposed to the Coddle the mid?
I mean, that's what we were talking about just now. It could just be a player comfort thing, because I would have personally preferred the mid Coddle, even though, yeah, it is scary once Puck and Tusk, like once Puck gets 6. I feel like Nature's Prophet can die the same way to a Tusk rotation, but maybe, I mean, it's a master tier Nature's Prophet on speed, so it has to be player comfort.
Okay, I like the comfort argument. And I'm feeling very comfortable with my piggy friend. Let's go to our casters instead, though. It's Sunsfan and Cinderin.
Hate that. Hello, Cinderin.
Yo.
Tsunami does not eat meat, but I would eat you. I do love bacon. It is a delicious, delicious treat that I do have on a...
Oh, it's a female.
Let's just get in the game, please. EG versus 5RATFORCESTAFF. Game number 1 went the way of EG. These two teams are very familiar with each other. As Fly, he's gonna get stunned up by DNM, and he's gonna be brought down. So First Blood goes the way of DNM himself on this position 1 Svenny boy here that I haven't gotten to see a ton of lately, Cinderman.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on him in this current meta?
Pretty... Oh, well, let's just say highly situational. I think there was enough merit to it here to make it a good pick. He's good against Lycan, and like the panel pointed out, there's a lot of physical damage in the enemy team, so Warcry offers a lot for the entire team. So I think this was a very cool idea from them to grab this hero here. I was actually expecting, even after the players had picked their heroes, that 5RATFORCESTAFF was going to pull an EG here and swap their lanes, so that Speed was playing offlane Furion, and they would play a mid lane Coddle. But it does look like they will stick to their respective lanes as usual, with the players, that is. And the weirdest thing about this whole thing for me is probably the 5 Skywrath. I have pretty bad experience with this. It used to be a thing, I think all the way back in 2014 or something. Alliance played this as a 5 on Ake, if I'm not mistaken. But for the most part, from my perspective, this hero suffers from having too few items. You can technically play it as a 4 from the safe lane support role, I suppose. As long as they give Albino Zebra enough farm, that could work. But I'm a little bit skeptical about this hero's impact in this game, also because of its matchups. Lycan is the nightmare for this hero. I think it's the single worst core to play against in the whole game.
Yep. And like you said, it's not going to be a core, so likely not to get an Atos anytime soon to fight off the Lycan. Of course, not going to do much against the creeps, unless you get Gleipnir on a Skywrath Mage to counter
Yes.
Lycan and his creeps.
The classic.
Would not recommend it. Sure, the win percentage is probably high if you look on Dota buff, is my guess, Cinderin.
Yeah,
because
most heroes
usually-
with very weird items will have a high win rate because it's picked when you're winning.
That's right. A win more item, if you will. Little Nick is going to be playing the Coddle in the off lane. And it's been a while since I've seen Arteezy on the Luna as the zip on out by Giant.
I have to praise EG's draft in this game as well. This is a hero combination that I actually think, if I remember correctly, this was actually something that one of my teams as well played multiple years ago at this point. The Luna Dazzle Lycan strat, where you use the fact that you get... Oh, Little Nick is in big trouble here, by the way. He might actually just tick out. He's going to die to one more hit. He's dead.
He is taunting, though, so you know that he's not that upset about it.
So there's a couple of things that make the strategy really cool. First of all, you have the Dazzle heal together with the Wolves. And then Dazzle puts on minus armor with Bad Juju, which makes Lycan stronger. Your Luna makes all of your allies' physical damage stronger with Lunar Blessing. And these three heroes combined are really good at taking Roche. So you hit this like mid-game insane teamfight timing if you buy some sort of utility on other heroes like auras or whatever it is, which Lycan is really good at. Where the Luna plus whatever mid hero you have really come online together with that. So I love this strat, and I really do favor EG because I like the strategy so much. But I think the 5RATFORCESTAFF's ideas are very cool on a hero-to-hero level to try to solve it. So
yeah, we'll see if they can slow down the push that you're talking about. EG's lineup in general is super aggressive in literally every form other than maybe Luna in the very early stages of the game is Fly. Gonna take the Illuminate. Good damage. And gets off the Poison Touch. Onto Giant as he attempts to run away. Fly looks like he'll live, but they'll get the trade, or the actual kill onto Giant.
Fly's getting rich, man. That's 2 kills in a row in the safe lane. Might have wanted to give that to Arteezy if he could, but by no means is it bad to get gold on the 5. I think Dazzle also, like, if he gets to that stage that I talked about with a bit of luxury from Dazzle can definitely help. You know, another aura item or another little thing for that 20-minute timing can make a very big difference. So
you can see Speed off to a pretty good start in the mid lane. 21-8 versus Abed's Puck, which is 18-2 as Crit. He's going to show himself mid. The nice shards blocking Speed in, but he's just going to TP out. Okay. Looks like the snowball is enough to cancel it. It's a waste to the last second, so they can do as much damage as possible. Crit. I think they're trying to turn this around. Albino Zebra. I mean, if you can hit him with one tag team, that's another great counter to this hero.
That's the dream. So they get the kill and Crit dies as fast as possible after, so that the experience in the mid wave goes to the Puck. Crit gets a full refill and they gave away no experience. Giant is in big trouble. He's still ticking, right?
Yeah, he is.
He is fine because of the Tango.
Yeah, Fly in the meantime, though. He's going to face the wrath of Albino Zebra. Gets off the Arcane Bolt. Pops the wand, and the roll in is not quite enough. A nice Lucent Beam, but Fly still dies to the Arcane Bolt. Giant's just going to have to limp back to base. But yeah, Arteezy 21-8 right now, and on the other side of the coin, you see 30-3 on the Sven for DNM. And I mean, how fearsome of a hero can this still be? Because I mean, I still have a bit of PTSD from the old, like when Ags was first introduced and it was just like super popular for like 6 months straight. It just felt like the carry for that year. How does it fare these days, would you say, like in that mid to late game?
A very farmed Sven can still totally carry games, especially if he's played with a hero combination that allows him to stick on targets. So, you know, a tried and true pairing would be something like Puck, right? So you have somebody else setting you up to just go to town.
All right, Coil missed by Abed. It's a little bit missed opportunity. Very happy with that.
But yeah, I think if Sven goes for the normal trajectory here and he just keeps ramping up, I do think EG are a little bit on a timer, to be honest. I think 5RATFORCESTAFF have a very good chance late game in this one. I think all of their heroes scale well. Even the 5 Skywrath, the Lycan matchup will always be a problem for him, but he has some very useful utility later on. Earth Spirit is one of the best late game supports. Even the Coddle 3 has a lot of room to grow. So
Little Nick
has a lot of room to die.
Of trouble. Fly and Arteezy pretty easily clean him up. Now, Albino Zebra's a little late to the party, but he doesn't even have mana to work with, so We'll just have to try to leech a little bit of XP here.
I read a suggestion about Sven that I found interesting. I'm curious what you think. What if Ags was toggleable?
So you don't have to go with it?
Yeah, so you can choose if you want to fly with a hammer.
Right. Well, speed. He's going to get stuck inside the shards. Ooh, nice sprout to get onto the other side.
So basically, if you had Ags on Sven, you can choose if you want to connect with your hammer or not. So you can just throw out a casual stun when you want to instead of backpacking your Ags.
Yeah.
And if you're Rubik and you steal Stormhammer and you have Ags, it doesn't suck.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, who cares about Rubik, honestly? Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it.
I'm sure there's a dev or two that would love for Rubik to be removed from the game, so they care about it in a negative way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hardest hero to keep up to date with each. I mean, they probably have one employee just dedicated to Rubik. Jeff Hill's secretary is just Rubik only.
You go on a date and you're like, hey, so what do you do for a living? I code Rubik.
Yep, just keep it
40
Rubik
hours
up to
a
date.
week.
I would believe it.
And Jeff is like, I'm Jeff, and then everybody's like, oh shit, it's Jeff.
Jeff's here, everybody.
It's Jeff.
No, but I think that's a great quality of life change, and I see no downside. I don't see what the possible reason for the downside to be is. Arteezy not going to get connected on, but Sprout, and they turn into tree ants, but the Wrath of Nature not quite in time.
Yeah, that needed to be precast for that gank to work. If that connected before he TP'd out, he would have died if it was a max damage one.
Yeah, DNM getting chased off by Crit now. And
Crit doesn't want a
see-
high five, it looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Very rude young man.
He looks very angry.
Yep. DNM going for the Echo Saber.
So annoying. Look at that.
Oh, pops the Gaben Strength just to take out this camp. That's an interesting choice.
Do you actually just replace God with Gaben in every spell?
Yeah, there's Hand of Gaben, Gaben Strength, Gaben's Rebuke.
Gaben-like? Beyond Gaben-like?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't think about that. Oh, DNM, okay. He had an ancient stack to take, so...
What do you call a goddess?
Gabenilla?
All right, no.
I was just on the spot, Cinder. I don't have these names queued up ahead of time. As Albino Zebra will be drawn.
Oh my god, it sounds like some sort of sweet vanilla replacement.
I thought you were going to say it sounds like a rapper. Lil Nick.
Lil Nick sounds like a rapper, okay?
That's
not gay
true.
vanilla.
Off head to the low ground. Okay, Nightfall comes in with that shapeshift, just applying all the pressure to Lil Nick, but turns his sights onto speed instead. That's a much higher priority target, and they rip apart that Nature's Prophet. And they're going to turn this into a tier 1 tower. So again, we saw this last game. EG, obviously with this push line, want to get off to the right, get off to a fast start, I should say, and they're doing that already. As Echo Saber now online for DNM.
Yeah, I'm curious how he goes about his build this game. So Echo's fine. Do you go Echo into BKB straight away? Do you get a Mom on the way and then disassemble the Echo for a faster BKB? Like, what's the plan going to be? Because it's a really delicate game to play Sven in. You were probably going to get 1, maybe 2 chances, and if you mess up those moments, you lose. So those fights, he has to nail them. If he does it correctly, he could win the game for his team. But even 1 or 2 slight missteps, that's what's so dangerous about playing against lineups like the one EG has, is when everything comes together at this point in the game, it can get nasty really quickly for a hero like Sven.
Yeah.
Okay, he's eyeing up the blink. Not sure how much I like that. I think he really needs... Oh,
Oh, we're going to see the
Nick.
punch. Lil Nick dead. Coil was expended for that as, okay. God Strength popped by DNM, so they're going to get a trade of sorts.
A Walrus for a horse. Sounds like a good old trade.
If they came out with a hippo mount, they would make a lot of money. I'm pretty sure.
For which hero?
I don't know. I have to think
Chen?
about that one.
I guess.
Yeah, he has an alligator. Okay. Pig pole. Speed. Very speedy as a result, but... So at what stage of the game do you start worrying about the Sven? Obviously, it's still pretty early on, but it feels like he's getting all the farm that he wants right now. Obviously, some towers are being pushed, and he's not going to be able to do too much about it yet. Like I said, has the Echo Saber, and you brought up the Blink Dagger, and you don't like that. But
Yeah, so my concern with the blink, I understand the logic of if he gets this, maybe he can jump and just kill off the dazzle before he saves people, but I'm a little bit worried that he doesn't have enough to just stand his ground, because the problem here is you jump in as Sven and you start the fight, you're going to get bullied out so fast by the enemy team if they just turn on you with everything that they have. Like, even if you have Warcry running, you should not underestimate just how insane physical damage this Radiant lineup has around that time that he gets the blink. So what I was thinking was to get either a BKB bridge item into BKB or just go straight for it now and then get attack speed so that when the fight is on, you can stand at your ground and just deliver. And then rely a little bit more on the Earth Spirit to catch or the
roll back in. Albino Zebra gets punched into the skybox. And they're going to find Giant as well. And it feels like every time this shapeshift is activated, there's just way too many creeps to deal with on 5RATFORCESTAFF's side, who are now down 3K. And you can see Arteezy kind of just, I mean, this feels like a 4v5 right now, where he's just been chilling in the bot lane. And just pushing it out while the rest of his team takes towers, gets pickoffs, and gets lots of map control. But now we have TP from 5RATFORCESTAFF. Looks like they want to smoke up potentially.
Definitely smoke. Kind of an awkward timing. DNM has 2K unspent gold, so
yeah,
he should really finish off his blink before they make this move if it's possible. Oh, they're not smoking either. They're just, okay, they're basically just escorting the king to his jungle.
Okay. And the Helm of the Overlord already done. Holy jeez. That was, the stat showed 1 minute faster.
Oh, see you later, Roche.
As Roche is melting. Man, that is such a fast Helm of the Overlord. That's kind of insane. Has the dragon now, Abed with the Aegis. Obviously, Luna's not really ready to go high ground with an Aegis, so better to give it to the mid laner. Oh, speed. Okay, they got the coil onto 2, but the instant silence as Puck finally the phase shift comes out thanks to the snowball.
And the grave.
He gets graved at the last moment as well. They're going to get a kill as a result of this. Still phase shift. Remember, he still has the Aegis anyway as Arteezy pops the Eclipse. And down goes Speed. Abed staying alive, but finally the Spirit Vessel ticks him out. So the Aegis is expended as DNM. All right, coming in for a little cleanup crew. Takes out Crit. But it's only 2 supports dead for EG as Abed and Arteezy potentially looking to chase DNM. But now that Nightfall shapeshifts down, looks like they're just going to reset. So Aegis, at the very least, okay.
Hang on.
Yep, Stormhammer is there as Nightfall pops the shapeshift. And yeah, DNM has to be very careful. Oh my god! He got the crit at the last moment. Holy jeez. That was filth.
Did he not? I guess he didn't have Warcry running, right? He must have not had Warcry running, dude. That the damage of Lycan Dazzle is just so insane when you just get to just lay into a single target like that. That was dirty. My god.
Yeah, and that'll extend the lead for EG to 4K as Fly is getting ganked on the other side. Mystic Flare's there. And no way to dispel this quite yet, but the Koi, he's going to stay alive. And they take out Albino Zebra instead. And they get another on top with a tier 2 tower next on the list.
Okay, I'll tell you something. There is something really satisfying about watching Lycan Dazzle kill supports. Just as annoying as it is playing against Lycan as a support. It's kind of like it's funny to know, you know, see PAs crit daggers and heroes and they just die in one hit. It looks really cool and it's very satisfying to watch, but damn. You just feel for these supports, man. Like the moment they go and cast a spell, if they're even the slightest out of position, they're gone. Like just no mercy.
Speed is spotted out.
Toast.
And well, they've used both stuns. Oh, there's the Walrus Punch to follow anyway.
Doesn't matter.
No chance for Speed. 6K lead EG as we...
He did turn into a pig before he died, though. So
okay, that's
yeah.
important.
So no Warcry here. Look at this damage. So 1400 HP.
Let's see if he would have gotten out without this last crit on this auto attack. That's
that was
close.
Borderline, yeah.
Close. Might have been enough anyway, but tough to tell.
That sound effect playing over Arteezy's smile.
Crit. Oh, he's going to spot DNM. Do they see him, though? They do at the last moment. Okay, Stormhammer and the blink in, and he gets blown up.
All right.
So 5RATFORCESTAFF, I mean, they've gotten a couple pickoffs, but the problem is it's only been the supports, really.
Yeah.
Like, Arteezy's been, I mean, all 3 cores. Like, you can look at my screen, Cinder, and they're all flaming. I got the flaming cosmetic. That means they haven't died recently. They're on some kill streak action. Flight looks to be fine.
Yeah, they know the smoke is coming too. They saw it on the mid ward. They got pinged immediately by Crit, where he got ganked. They still smoked in the AoE of the Radiant Vision, so Fly knows how long he can stay there before it drops one Shadow Wave and gets out, and you can tell Arteezy is very aware something might be coming his way, so just a little bit of chill in the trees, you know, to have a little breather.
Yeah, now Abed with the regen rune. And, I mean, next rush won't be for a while, so that...
Oh,
I mean, I would say it's
from
a
EG is going to
silver
be really
lining.
good.
Yeah, Eclipse is ready to go. Arteezy does not have BKB yet. He's going to show himself. There's the Eclipse. Giant is just dead. And the silence onto Crit, but it looks like Albino Zebra trying to find a way out. He is pretty speedy, but he's going to get trapped by one of the best Tusk, if not the best Tusk in the entire world in Crit. So 2 kills for EG in a short amount of time. And this lead is starting to balloon a little bit.
It's been 6K for a while, I feel like. They're not really...
It's ballooning.
They're not really gaining that much ground in terms of the gold, but I reckon they are in terms of the experience, right? No, it's also pretty much flatlining, but still a huge advantage, and this EG lineup still hasn't hit its apex, in my opinion. I think it's coming up.
Oh, DNM. Okay, he's going to turn his sights onto Abed, but the Illusory Orb was already out, so now the rest of 5RATFORCESTAFF on the run. Okay. Oh, man.
Whoa,
Abed is juking all over the place.
Did he just silence him while jumping? He just jumped across the rolling...
I'm sure we'll see the replay of that, but the fight might not be over yet. Although
that was
DNM...
pretty sick. He silenced a cross-rolling boulder. That is such a narrow window. Very cool.
I mean, Abed
Didn't really matter, but it looked awesome. So
Abed has had a lot of practice on Puck, only to be outdone by Storm Spirit, of course.
is this his second most played?
It must be. Maybe Void Spirit? Let's see. Alright, Dodge is there.
Dinosaur! so you're going to see it here. So Earth is going to try to roll on him here. Just silence the cross. That's a pretty narrow window.
That's pretty sick.
And both heroes survive, so it really wasn't that cool. But it was cool. Okay. So I think here's when it gets really scary for the Dire. When Arteezy gets his next item, so he's actually going Sanjin Yasha, which I don't know if that's really...
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual on Luna, but sometimes it is the right game for it. I'm okay with it. I don't know if it's necessarily the best item, theoretically speaking, but it's fine. When they get the next row, that's when things
DNM. Okay, goodbye, Crit. Goodbye. He's not quite dead, though.
Goodbye.
Grave. And now the Eclipse to try to counteract this. Speed is going to be the first one to fall, and Crit survives. How is that possible?
Shallow grave, baby.
Man, it felt like they were playing a little bit more passive than they could have. Right, okay. BKB by Arteezy. He's going to stop a TP for Giant, and we'll get the kill as a result. And you can see Crit taking Albino Zebra in the meantime, and yeah, they're just dropping like flies as EG, now that they have the number advantage and the creeps to boot, they can take these towers super fast.
I mean, they could get racks here in 15 seconds. This is scarily quick. Let's see if they can mount the defense with the heroes that they have. Okay, maybe that's exaggerated. Maybe they don't actually get it.
Oh,
okay.
Crit gets the Walrus Punch. DNM is forced to pop the BKB. Will get Crit in the end, though.
Okay, that is...
Speed with the Sprout. Okay, has the Shard now, so Arteezy kind of stuck inside. Looks like he'll get out eventually. Has the S and Y.
Do they still want to push? I thought they were maybe going to grab at least the tower during that timing, but when they started jumping on the Sven in the base, they prioritized that over the tower.
Yeah, I think with, I mean, the timer on Roche, we won't know, but in 40 seconds, it's possible to spawn. So I'm sure EG has that number written down somewhere. As, like this, it felt like they weren't, I don't know. Maybe they got blocked a bit by the trees. They definitely could have killed him. What a turnaround from EG there.
Should really not underestimate how much it matters sometimes, the new ult, right? The bad juju, the activation heal that you use. Because after I think he's healed Crit once or twice there, and he has Shallow Grave, so he should have 3 stacks. So just gets that extra heal at the end of the grave, also with the heal amp. All of the little things just add up. quite quickly. Albino.
Albino Zebra dead.
The life of a 5 Skywrath mage. It is just...
Yeah.
Rough stuff.
Tough.
Rough, tough stuff. Yeah, DNM.
Got it.
I mean, what's next on the list for him? It must be like a Daedalus. Surely.
Maybe AC is better. I'm still concerned about his ability to just stand. You know, now there's another minus armor source on the Radiant with Nightfall grabbing the AC. So you've got AC plus Bad Juju plus Tag Team with Luna Aura. I think Sven needs AC or he's just gonna get pushed out of the fight even during BKB.
All right, I have a question. It's going to seem
Yeah,
like a
it's
very
going Daedalus.
stupid question, Cinderin. But I might have to hold that thought. Like, if you're farming this fast on Lycan, surely boots at some point makes sense. I understand you don't need it when you're ulted, but your ult doesn't really last that long. Like, why do you not have brown boots at this stage? Like, doesn't it become worth it at some point?
It's a good question. I'm kind of with you that I feel like if you look over the course of an entire game, that 500 gold would have probably paid itself back in terms of just overall map movement, right?
Yeah.
At some point, it should work kind of like... It's kind of like not having Midas in a sense.
Okay, DNM punched into the air. He pops the BKB. Oh, the glaze bounce. That last one is enough. And down goes DNM. And well, Skywrath was in the area, so he's going to die too.
Pretty much.
No buybacks for either of them. And when then Luna is in your base, this is what happens.
So to answer your boots thing on Lycan, I think the thing is, when does it feel right to buy it, right? Because no matter when you buy it, you're delaying another item. So maybe now you've got your key components, right? You've got Drum, Overlord, AC. Maybe now you can buy the boots. Because, like, let's say you buy it after Overlord, then you're just delaying another teamfight item. Like, that 500 gold doesn't make itself back that fast, right?
Crit jumps into the back, just trying to control Lil Nick as BKB's popped by RTZ, and I believe GG's are about to come out as EG just completely overwhelmed 5RATFORCESTAFF with the push.
I love that lineup.
There's nothing they could do about it.
I love it so much. I got excited when I saw them pick Dazzle Lycan together in the second phase. I was like, hell yeah. And then they even rounded it out with Luna, which is another amazing pairing for these two. So nice stuff. Obviously, EG heavily favored in this series just based on pedigree and player skill and, you know, almost any metric you look at in Dota. But I still really like what they brought to the table, especially in this game. This to me feels like a very well executed strategy, and I think a very good understanding of what clicks in this patch. I really like these heroes right now. Pretty much everything they ran in this strategy. So really cool stuff, and nice to see some Dazzle. I used to love this hero. I haven't played it in a long time. I need to pick it up again because I keep forgetting it because it's been so long. But it's actually
That's
good.
true. There are a lot of heroes to keep track of. So, yeah, the minus armor strat, the push strat, just too much for 5RATFORCESTAFF to withstand. So they're down to 1-4, which I think puts them tied for second to last, if I'm not mistaken. And EG, I believe, now are 4-1.
Yep.
So they have a bit of a lead on TSM, who are still 2-2, but still a lot more games for them to play, including the next series. So
Quick fun fact about that game, none of EG's cores died. You pointed out earlier, it's like only the supports are dying. That was literally the case.
that's right. If you're watching in Source TV after spending 150,000 shards on the Flame Gold or Ice cosmetic, then you would know that too. Very good stuff.
I buy
Thank you
relics.
for joining us as Cinder interrupts this terrible outro. We'll see what the panel has to say after this quick break, and then we'll get on to the final series of the day.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
It's time to make a call. My body remains, but not my soul. Everything is ready. a nameless someone that no one knows. So take all I am. Take my heart, my eyes, my lungs, my skin. The harvest for me, it is the a donor is all life. Yeah. Like wolves, they wait upon their prey. With sharp knives and still always. They slice through me in every single way. To get to what they want to say.
Evil Geniuses finish off their series here at the end of week number 4 with a win, continuing a pretty solid trend throughout the course of, well, everything that wasn't the first week of this DPC tour. And 5RATFORCESTAFF succumb to what Cinderin considered to be a pretty exciting strategy to watch. And so, despite it being maybe a foregone conclusion that Evil Geniuses would take this win, it was more interesting than just a straightforward stop. Were you as intrigued, Purge, with this Dazzle-Lycan combination as Cinderin was?
It was cool, yeah. I mean, that's what we expected to see, right? Shadow Word getting a lot of value. The AoE on it's really small, actually, so ever landing like a lot of proximate is very difficult, but if you have a lot of summons surrounding a hero, it works great. So it worked perfectly. Dazzle's much better at healing than he used to be, and Graves are still an effective skill. So yeah, he kept Puck alive in that mid-team fight. That was early in the game. Then he kept who was that, Crit alive in that bottom team fight. So yeah, he did a lot of work that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doesn't he have more utility now that the shard got buffed as well? So he's not that much of a one-trick pony if you do want to include him in your drafts. And I think there's always been a place for these exploitation of minus armor kind of ideas in Dota. So it's definitely nice to see EG trying their hand at it themselves. I think both the supports played an excellent game. That Snowball Slave on Puck mid when he got silenced into the grave on the Puck, when he also got silenced, was really cool. I love the way that EG kind of distributed farmer on the map. I loved how Luna was like setting up for kills by himself on side lanes and just like bravely walking into two heroes. So overall, a really good showing by EG.
And we'll get more insight on Evil Geniuses as I check my notes here. We've got... No, that can't be right. It is right. Arteezy we have been
The chairs.
explicitly requesting you on multiple occasions, and this time I finally gave up on trying to get a hold of you, and I was just like, let EG send whoever they want. And yet, somehow you show up here. What is going on? Why are you my interviewee?
I was just summoned here. My manager came up to me and said, it's your turn. Then I didn't have an excuse available. Usually I have some like tummy ache or something, and that's what I ride on, but I don't have anything this time.
Okay, well, we appreciate the sacrifice regardless. Thanks so much for taking the time to not only speak to us now, but also speak to us during our pregame interview, because we heard that you guys actually have a little bit of competitive history with 5RATFORCESTAFF in scrims, and that took a lot of us here by surprise, because for a long time there was this maybe propaganda being spread that EG did not commonly scrim North American teams. Was that ever the case?
I don't think so. I don't think we scrimmed very often in the past, and that's probably why that even started. But these days, especially with how the new circuit is, we scrim a lot. We scrim like very frequently. We try to get, if we feel like we need more games, we'll just go and play like a third set instead of a second set, and we end up playing teams like 5RAT.
What do you mean by a third set instead of a second set? Explain that to me.
Oh, I mean, we usually play 2 sets a day. If we feel like we still want to play more, we'll ask around for a third set last minute, and that's usually we find some NA team because they scrim very late.
I see.
Like, usually our day starts 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and then we play Europe or NA teams. And then around 6 is where the NA teams scrim other NA teams, so we'll just try to fit in there. There's a spot.
And so usually these sets are not the same teams over and over again. You'll do 3 different teams on your 3 set days?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, because I know for the days where you probably did not scrim as frequently, it seemed like North America was very top heavy, and it almost felt like you guys were being protective, that you're like, oh, we're so much better than the rest of NA. We don't need to share our practice with you guys. What are we going to get out of it? So I'm glad that the culture is changing, because I do think that North America as a region is getting stronger. Do you feel that as well over the course of the past, I guess, 9 months of the competitive season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at least the top 4 teams of every season have been pretty stable and consistent. We always scrim each other, and we learn a lot from each other, and it's been developing to a way where in the past, if we did those scrims, it'd be stomps, but now they're a lot more even, and it seems like whatever happens in those scrims are very good for both teams involved, which is very healthy for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's why over time it has led to, teams like TSM doing well at the major. NA got made second place at the major 4 times in a row.
4 times in a row, baby. 4 times in a row. We got them silver medals on lock. Effie, you got any questions for Arteezy?
Yeah, so speaking of the circuit and how a lot of the top 4 teams in NA have been stable and improving, I was curious what you think about the bottom 3 teams, the ones who come out of Division 2, like how they have been looking in the last year. Do you think that the DPC format has helped them at all, or do you think there are still ways to go for like the 5RATs of the world?
Yeah, I don't really know. It just seems like those 2 teams just end up being recycled. It's kind of like maybe the same players in different teams, and that just tends to happen. I'm not really sure if it's necessarily working, and I don't think it's the system's fault, because I think there are just a lack of new NA players coming in. There's like it's kind of like recycled players coming in on different teams, trying to form different compositions. I wouldn't say the system's not working. I think it's just like the infrastructure of the NA scene is kind of poor right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what steps do you think should be taken to improve that, if any? Because while the top 4 have looked really solid this tour, I think there's still a lot to be desired from these teams that are getting recycled around. So do you think there's anything that can happen, or what would need to happen basically for them to become more competitive? Like sponsorships, third-party tournaments, like what would you attribute it to?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure, because I think it just lies in the problem of like the American culture, and a lot of people don't really feel interested. Like the young kids, the younger generations don't really want to invest a lot of time in Dota. I'm not sure how it is like in League. Maybe it's similar, but it just seems like the longer and longer this game goes, the less North Americans are interested in playing. So I think that's where the real issue lies. I do think there would be like, it's never a bad thing to have additional support, some third-party tournaments and all those things, but yeah, it's just hard. There's just a very big lack of players, big lack of new people coming in and really wanting to push themselves to invest in this game because it's a huge time commitment.
Yeah, I can see that entirely. So this is unrelated, but I have to ask. So you play with your knees up all the time. Every time the cam goes on you, your knees are just up on the desk. Do you have any knee problems? Have you experienced any pain or?
I don't
You know
think
that
so.
it's
I think
not
I have
great,
knee
right?
problems. I feel I have knee problems if I sit normal. Like I think I'm so used to this.
I think that would be knee problems then.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, but I feel more comfortable sitting in this like weird position than I feel like I don't notice it outside of my day. When I sit on this chair, I'm just like, whatever happens in my screen, I'm locked to it. And then when I stand up, I don't feel any problems. I don't feel when I'm sleeping I have any problems because I think I also sleep in a very messed up position. That doesn't help.
Okay. I was curious because I sit the same way on my computer desk, and I had COVID recently, and when I had COVID, I had like the worst joint pains of my life, but it was mostly in my knees, and that's when I realized that like all the years of sitting like an idiot had caught up to me. So
yeah, this is definitely not sustainable. I'll agree. I don't know what's gonna happen in a couple of years.
yeah, you should get on that just based on a prior experience. But yeah, thank you, and congratulations on your win.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No. We're not done with you
No,
yet.
no, no.
Purge gets the question.
We're
You're not
sticking
getting
to
away
Purge.
that easy.
Oh, sorry, Perch. Sorry.
It's okay. She was trying to clarify it was my turn, not let you go. Okay, I just have like two quick questions. Since you guys have all been pros for such a long time, would you feel that over time that being a pro player has felt more like a job and less of like a on a team with your friends type situation? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because when you're younger, you're just also more like naive to everything, I think. And with the more you do it, the more you kind of get accustomed to everything that happens around you.
So with that said, and the fact that you guys have obviously have a great org behind you, are there things that you guys try to do as a team to like build more rapport, especially when you're roster swapping? Do you guys like go do things together other than get food, or what kind of stuff do you guys do in your free time that's like group activities?
I think we have some plans about we're gonna go golfing or something. So we try like because we have a pretty heavy schedule where we scrim quite frequently for a long period of time, like 6 days a week, and we use that one day. We've been trying to use that one day to do something, but in those like in our break days, there's like some bad weather or something. But this time we planned, we're gonna go golfing. Hopefully there's no problems with that. So we do try, other than like go out to eat dinner together.
Okay, and last questions. When you guys go out to eat, is it difficult to figure out where you want to go? Like, do you guys argue about it?
I don't think it's that difficult. I think most of us don't like. We'll just let other people choose. It's kind of that's how it goes. If one guy has no one will say anything, and then maybe one guy like Bulba or something will say, "How about this?" and then we'll probably deny it, and then Tal will say something, and then we'll just do that. It's like I don't really like the recommendations that Bulba has for restaurants.
Yeah, it's because he's vegetarian, bro. He has the hardest restrictions of all of you.
Yes, yeah, that has to do with it for sure. But he does like going to steak houses. He likes the sides there.
Yeah, the macaroni and cheese. Oh my god, I can 100% relate. My last question does not pertain to Dota. What's your review of Honestly Nevermind? You think Drake fell off, or you think he still got it?
I can understand why some people like this album. I personally didn't like it. I only liked the last song on the album with 23 Savage. That was like the only song I really enjoyed. But the other tunes, they're good to vibe with. I suppose that's the word.
It seemed
but
like a generic
they're not
summer
like
album.
my kind of songs that I want to vibe with. But I can see the appeal,
Okay.
Tsunami, wait. Before we go,
Yeah.
I genuinely am so curious. So you guys think golfing is fun? Like you get up
I
early?
have never gone golfing.
Okay.
I don't know.
That is a very interesting choice of hobby. I mean, yeah, no.
Well, okay, so I'm
Let me know how
envisioning
it goes,
it's like a top golf kind of thing. It's not actually like going to a golf course.
Yeah.
It's top golf, right?
I forgot what it was called, but that's right. Like where you just take the
You just drive. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a more, I don't know, Effie, are you familiar with Top Golf? It's like an arcade version of golf.
No.
Oh, okay. It's like
Mini golf?
it's the opposite of mini golf because instead of just doing tiny putts all the time, you're just smacking the shit out of it, and that's what that equivalent of golf is. It's great team building. I think you guys will learn a lot about each other there.
I hope so.
Well, either way, it seems like the team chemistry is going well so far ever since your 2 or 3 rosters been put together. So congratulations on the win versus 5RATFORCESTAFF, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Rare footage of Arteezy doing an interview. Can you believe it? I was
Dude,
shocked.
I couldn't believe when he came on the pre-game interview. I was like, wow. And then we got him again. Holy crap, dude. It's like winning the lottery.
Shout out to the
I'm
manager.
just surprised about golf, honestly. Maybe I just don't understand
Yeah.
golf because there's no golf courses here, but to me, it's like you have to wake up early, right? You have to go in the morning.
Right.
You get out of bed, you bother yourself, and you just like stand there and you.
That's traditional golf. The golfing equivalent that he's describing is more like going to a bowling alley and you like just drink and you like drive, and it has like a
It's like VR golf.
yeah,
right?
kind of. There's like a scoring thing where it's like a dartboard, like a gigantic field-sized dartboard, and wherever it lands, you get points on it. So it's not like the real methodical. Oh,
All right, that sounds better
yeah,
for sure.
it's much more
Yeah.
amenable to the youth. It's not so much an old person thing, as we established that. It was a good question, actually. I liked your question asking about what the next generation of Dota in North America looks like, and I'm kind of with him because I know during the end of the Western Europe today, we were talking about like OG is full of young players right now, and they're consistently feeling like the newer generation is going to overtake the older generation. But in North America, it's not so much the case. Like I'm trying to think even who is. Would it be like Quinn, or like who's the next generation youngest player that you think is like TI winning caliber in North America right now?
I mean,
That's
Lil Nick,
alright.
let's go.
Yeah, Lil Nick. It's got to be 5RATFORCESTAFF, right? Like it's a 5-man squad where they're all very young.
Yeah.
Like they are there. That does give me hope. Plus Han just died. I'm seeing a lot of posts on Reddit about Han players being like, "Well, I have to play this game now. Can somebody help me with XYZ?"
yeah, but are they young or are they old?
No, honestly,
Probably
honestly,
not.
No, honestly though, like of the contenders right now, we're like looking like strong potential contenders are nouns. I think Husky and Gunner are both quite young. They're 19, 20. So I would consider that the new generation.
Yeah,
too.
actually, I like that one. We because even Arteezy was saying that he thought that the top 4 has been close for a while. So I guess that by default has included nouns / zoomers, because for us, at least from our perspective, it seems like nouns have only been on the up and up ever since their signing. But Arteezy is considered it to be worthy competition for all of North America, and now we just need to include the 5th place team and then the 6th place team, and then we've got a really enriched region that can hopefully not just be 2nd place all the time at majors, but maybe get 1st place. And on the topic of placements, let's take a look at the standings of the NA DPC. We're not done with the day quite yet, but we can see where we stand after halfway of the day has been completed, where Quincy Crew remain undefeated, and Evil Geniuses, having dropped their only series, 2 nouns, are now tied for 2nd place as they beat 5RATFORCESTAFF. Cool stuff, Purge.
You know, 2nd place is really not that bad though. I mean, I know like a lot of it's Depression City, right? Like I saw what TSM looked like at the after party. Like at least 2 of them were like incapacitated with grief, just sitting in like a booth by himself, just like staring at the table like for many minutes. Like it clearly affects.
Yeah, but my boy
you wanna win and you
Dubu,
lose.
he was trying to
But it's
enhance
fine.
his social skills during that after party. It wasn't all sad
He did
news
great.
for him. He did great. He was very personable. And speaking
Tomato
of
was not. He looked very sad.
TSM FTX, they will be our next series of the day, as they will be going up against Felt, but Evil Geniuses kind of speed ran that series, so it's going to be a little bit of a break. We will be back in around 40 minutes, 40, because I know every time I do these 4T, 50, people are like, 15? 14? What? No, it's 4T. So we will be back
4-0.
4-0 with TSM FTX versus Felt after the break.
paste, or you can duplicate, cut, copy, paste, or you can cut, copy, paste, copy, paste, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy,
Jump on the beat, we savage. Eat it up, boy, then cash it like 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's that magic. Jump on the beat, we savage. Eat it up, boy, then cash it like diddy dee. Ooh, that's that magic. Jump on the beat, we savage. Eat it up, boy, then cash it like 1, 2, 3. We stack that like 1, 2, 3. Ooh, we don't hold back. Jump on the beat like full attack. Top of the chain, we stack that like diddy dee. Heat it up. Heat it up. Just heat it up. Diddy dee. Heat it up. Heat it up. Just heat it up. Heat it up. First place for the bag of rhymes. Can't stop this shit out of your mind. Top shot of we're top of the line. Fake boy, don't waste my time. First place for the bag of rhymes. Can't stop this shit out of your mind. Top shot of we're top of the line like diddy dee. Heat it up. Heat it up. Just heat it up. Diddy dee. Heat it up.
My hand on the wheel and my shades on for fun. Reckless hearts unite, reckless hearts unite. Set your thoughts alight, set your thoughts alight. See the neon lights after hours.
with my chest now. I got you figured out. It's something that you got, babe. It has me going wild. It's the way you say my name, the way you touch my face. It's like our bodies move so easily. Like a movie, like a dream, a dose of dopamine, more than ecstasy. Between you and me, like a movie, like a dream, a dose of dopamine, more than ecstasy. Between you and me, take me there like nobody else. It's so unfair, I get you all to myself. But I like it like that, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it like that, yeah, yeah, yeah. Got you singing like a choir boy. I'll take you back to church. Won't stop until you say so. I like the roles reversed. It's the way you say your name, the way you touch your face. It's like our bodies move so easily. Like a movie, like a dream, a dose of dopamine, more than ecstasy. Between you and me, like a movie, like a dream, a dose of dopamine, more than ecstasy. Between you and me, take me there like nobody else. It's so unfair, I get you all to myself. But I like it like that, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it like that, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take me there like nobody else. It's so unfair, I get you all to myself. I like it like that, yeah, yeah, yeah.
turn back time? What if I could make the stars align? Could we get across the line into the rest of our lives? Would we have what it takes? How close is make or break? I can see us start to make our great escape. Tonight we will lie awake in the stars, and I'll let you into my heart. Chase the future together forever. Tonight we will lie awake in the stars, and I'll let you into my heart. Chase the future together forever. I stare into the sun. Need to live while we're still young. Don't walk, we just run alive. Tonight we will lie awake in the stars, and I'll let you into my heart. Face the future together forever. Tonight we will lie awake in the stars, and I'll let you into my heart. Chase the future together forever. We can chase the future together. Tonight. Tonight we will let go of the past and break away and fly. Chase the future together forever. We can chase the future together. Find out if you find out if you I can see the look in your eye. Go ahead and tell me what you've got on your mind. We can solve your problems tonight. Take another hit and rendezvous in the sky. Ooh, we got places to be. See some things you won't believe. Ignoring all them calls on your phone. Baby, tell me how you feel when you're standing next to me. Even though you've got somebody at home. Keep this between us. Ain't nobody have to know. Give me a reason. Why is it so hard to let go? Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings, let's fly. so hard to let go. Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings. Let's find out if you fly. Let's find out if you fly.
Do you want to play like a pro and gain that sweet MMR? Watch the DHL Pro Tips to improve your gameplay. Then test your knowledge to win a €250 Steam gift card. Become a pro by visiting esl.gg/DHL Pro Tips.
Imagine a graph. On one axis, you plot MMR. On the other axis, you plot the average number of Shadowblade purchases. If you do this, you will end up with a graph steeper than the graph of Dota 2's player count. You know why? Because, honestly, invisibility is a clunky pain in the ass to manage. Which is why in this video, we're going to be talking about how to counter invisibility. First off, remember that most invisibilities in Dota have a fade time. This is important because most root abilities in the game provide true sight. So if you cast them on an invis unit during their fade time, you can often kill them in the root duration. One of the most annoying things about invis heroes is that they can turn up anywhere, because they can just sneak past your wards. This is precisely why in pro matches you'll see that supports are always placing sentries on top of their wards, in particular at the entrance of their jungles. This way, you may not know where the annoying invis guy is within your jungle, but at least you'll know that he is in there somewhere, and so you can go kill him. Invis is pretty annoying, but it would be way more annoying if this little guy was not in the game. So, let's take a detailed look at what Dust of Appearance actually does. As of 7.31, Dust deals 25 damage to revealed units, meaning that if you hit them, they can't just blink away from you. Dust also slows invis heroes by 20%, meaning that enemies that are hit are encouraged to break their invis, else continue to be slowed. It's also worth noting, by the way, that the animation for Dust looks a lot smaller than the AoE actually is, and it looks like it moves slowly outward, but it's actually instantaneous in the entire AoE. So don't be deceived by the animation. If you're too lazy or too rich to buy Dust, don't worry, there are solutions for this, such as be Zeus, be Bounty Hunter, buy Gem, lose. That's about it. Good luck.
Were you paying attention? I hope you were. I hope you set an alarm for the countdown to end, and then you tuned back in, and you were like, oh boy, it's time for another episode of my favorite DHL Pro Tips. Also, we will get to the game, TSM FTX versus Felt, but I want to make sure that those of you who were here on time, in class, did your homework, studied, are going to get a good grade on the test. Because if you were paying attention, do you know which of the following do not reveal invisibility? Don't actually answer this question, Syndrin or Effie. Gleipnir, Dust of Appearance, or Meathook? Because if you were paying attention to the video, you would know which one of those do not reveal invisibility. And if you do know, then go to esl.gg/DHL Pro Tips and answer the question for a chance to win a €250 Steam gift card. So, everyone who was hype about TSM FTX versus Felt, do that first. And now we can lift up the LED so we can save Effie from box hell. Welcome back, Effie. And
Hey.
how did you enjoy your 40 minutes off? What'd you get up to?
Did you walk the dog?
Well, I ordered. No, I didn't.
Oh.
She already walked a few hours ago, so I was more responsible today. I ordered food.
Okay. What'd you get?
I ordered a vegan burger and mashed potatoes, and it got here like 2 minutes before our panel started, so I couldn't eat it. But it's here.
Taunting you.
I'm really excited to eat it.
Unfortunately, this will be a really long panel, so I'm afraid your food will go completely cold.
It is a really long panel. It's 23:51, you can see in the corner, and we will be speaking the virtues of TSM FTX versus Felt. What are the
Not
virtues?
making fun of stuttering, by the way. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about that.
Of course, I would never dare. What are the virtues of Felt? Tell me.
What are the virtues of Felt?
What are the virtues of Felt?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I should mention, one of the virtues that they don't have is having a full roster, because they will actually be having a stand-in for today.
Well,
so that's off to a bad start. The player will be Rem, R-E-M, or I don't know, it's capital R, lowercase e, capital M, is replacing Shu today.
Okay, so
the 5 position.
Replacement on the 5 position. Do you know if Shu does the majority of their drafting as well?
Great question. If they ever won, I would love to interview them and ask them, but unfortunately, they have not been winning, as we can take a look at the standings and see where they are currently in the state of North American Dota. They are 0-4. They are the only team without a series win.
And they're also the only team without a game win, which is worth mentioning as well, because we have a team like the Cut, who is 1-4, have still managed to grab 3 game wins. So aside from the series that the Cut won, they also managed to grab or force a best of 3, which I believe was against Nouns. Yeah. So, yeah, when it comes to Felt, I feel like you're putting me a bit on the spot when you say what are their virtues, because I think it's just fair to say that they've been the weakest looking team in this region this season.
Sure.
They're going up against a juggernaut here in TSM, so the very obvious expected outcome here is 2-0. I guess if you want me to give you a virtue, I think the best one I could give for them is that they're creative. Okay. They play their own stuff, which is totally off meta, and that has not been successful. And then I don't know if you want to call it a virtue or not, but they're sticking to their guns. When you're losing all the time and you stick to your guns, that might not be a good idea, but at the same time, maybe they're still confident, in what they run. This is our best stuff. We'll win what we can. But yeah, it's been a tough tournament for them so far.
And we spoke to Game and Gladiators and about how they were sticking to their guns, and it has eventually paid off for them. Obviously, a team that has found more success, but there's something to be said for remaining true to your strengths.
Yes.
Which I know Effie is probably chomping at the bit to talk about their Weaver, because I know you're a big fan of Felt's Weaver, aren't you, Effie?
I mean, I just feel like they keep forcing it into their drafts, but at the same time, it's like Cinderin said, they're sticking to their guns. So if that's what they like to play, good on them. I mean, I do admire their perseverance. They're only playing with 2 players of their roster that actually promoted them to this division. So I didn't have high expectations anyway, just because it's very unlikely for that to work when you replace the majority of your team. But
so